Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through a few ways that you can stop emasculating your husband so you can go about really recreating the marriage that you truly deserve and desire. Now, before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I'm opening up a few spots for my Authentic Relationship System training program, which is an incredible program geared towards helping you not only in your marriage and helping you to create that extraordinary marriage that you deserve, but really teaching you the specifics around male psychology so that he communicates and connects with you in a way that's going to make you feel happy and joyful and experience that love and that connection that you truly want. Now make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that every week you get access to my latest videos teaching you specifics on how you can save your marriage, how to improve your communication, how you can become the very best version of yourself as you're going through these difficult times in your marriage. Now, if we haven't met before, my name's Sri Rajaseka and I help women from all over the world to not only save their marriages, but help them to become the very best versions of themselves, to really heal some of those deeper wounds inside, because I honestly find that a lot of marital problems come because either we don't understand our partner at a deeper level, or we typically have some deeper wounds that we're holding on to on some level that's preventing us from being the best versions of ourselves. So it's all about healing from within and then also teaching you specifics about male psychology so you can really learn how to communicate with your husband or partner in the best possible way. One of the patterns that I'm seeing a lot in marriages these days is that a lot of men are effectively becoming a lot weaker. They're not being able to hold their own strength. And when I say strength, I don't mean physical strength, but I mean emotional strength. Being able to stay kind of rock solid and create a safe environment for their woman. And it's often becoming because there's a lot of emasculation going on within men. And I know this is a huge pain point for a lot of women that I deal with. And they tend to, fear that they are creating they're creating an environment where, there's a lot of emasculation going on. And so at the request of a lot of my clients, what I wanted to do was shoot this video to explain 3 ways to stop emasculating your husband and ensure that you get the most out of him so that he can bring his best self for you. Now, the first step to stop emasculating your husband is to beware the wounded child. Now, every man, every human being, to be perfectly honest, has that little inner child inside of them. But in men especially, they have that little inner boy inside. And that inner boy is wounded. A lot of the time, men can feel like they're inadequate. They feel like they're not good enough. And they're constantly feeling this need to appear special and to feel unique and to be respected and all of that stuff. But it comes from a deeper core wound inside, which is where they feel wounded inside, like they're not good enough. And you have to remember that when you feel like you're not good enough, if you're wounded at that level, you're going to be on the defensive all the time. You're always going to be trying to overcompensate for that particular wound. So I know for me, for example, I felt for so many years, I felt like I wasn't enough. And from that place, I felt like I needed to prove, I needed to achieve, I needed to succeed. I needed to get my point across and so on. And what that did was it started to push people away from me because I was constantly just driving hard. But it wasn't that I was this bad person or I was overly ambitious or anything like that. It was because I was wounded inside. And when you are wounded inside, that's when your defense mechanisms kick in. And for a lot of men, when you're in a marriage and your husband's life does not meet his expectations. He'll have a blueprint of the world of what he truly wants in his life, whether that be money or a certain status or a certain job title or whatever it is. If he wants that and his life doesn't actually match up with that particular desire, then he's going to feel pain. And then those wounds of when he's a child are going to kick in again. And so if what happens is you're communicating with him and inadvertently trying to get him to do things that are against his own will, or you're frustrated because he's constantly spending time at work and so forth and not necessarily contributing to the kids or the family life or whatever, then that's going to further exacerbate the issue for him, because not only is he dealing with the pressures at work, but he's then also having to deal with the pressures at home. And so everything stacks on top of each other. And when there's a lot of that stacking going on, then the pain intensifies even more. And it makes it even more difficult for a man to be able to cope with those circumstances. Now, as I said, there's no blame towards you or anything like that, because at the end of the day, he needs to take ownership for having a family, or, effectively his life being the way that he is. He has to take responsibility for it. But if you can become aware of the fact that here's a guy that's not actually having his life match up with his actual blueprint. In other words, he has this viewpoint or vision of what he wants, and then his actual reality doesn't match it, then you're going to see pain. That discrepancy equals pain. And when he's wounded from inside, and that little boy is wounded inside, then it's going to cause him to be on the defensive all the time. Now, it's good to understand this so that you can become aware of it. And once you're aware of it, you can have compassion for it. And once you have compassion for it, then you're going to be able to penetrate his heart. And when you can penetrate his heart, then you're going to be able to have the conversations with him. I was watching the other day the reunion of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it showed Will Smith having a bit of a feud with the original Aunt Viv. And, for years they'd been going off at each other. But then what happened was they got together in this reunion and they both laid down their weapons. And they actually just opened each other's heart. And they started to ask each other questions where they really understood what was going on beneath the surface. And once they did that, you could see that their heart was open. And then they were able to connect and embrace. And it was beautiful to see. And that's the power of being able to connect in with your heart, but having awareness of what someone else is going through. So the first step is really to beware the wounded child, to understand what's actually going on beneath the surface, inside the negative behaviors and the defensiveness. What's actually going on behind all of that? Because if you can understand it, then things really can start to shift in terms of your communication and just your ability to really connect with him. Now, the second step is to make sure that you don't stand in the middle of his constraints. Now, for a lot of men, life is a struggle. Life is this constant bombarding of pressure. It's, I need to step up for my family. I need to constantly just get my needs met. I need to be there for my family. I need to provide. I need to protect. I need to feel like I'm enough as a man. And so they're constantly trying to prove that they're actually enough. They're constantly trying to demonstrate that. Now, whether that's as simple as, trying to win a conversation or win an argument in a conversation in a debate, or whether that's trying to climb to the top of a corporate ladder. A lot of men struggle to just relax into themselves because they're always on a mission to try and prove or to win or to conquer, and fundamentally to experience freedom. And the challenge for a lot of guys is that they're wanting to experience all those things, and once they can do that, then they can step into the energy of love, where they can connect. Now, I actually genuinely believe that the feminine approach to relationships is the right one. I really do. Because I believe that love is the greatest healer of all. And when we can show up in the best way and we can give the love that we need to, then we're going to experience joy and happiness and freedom that we truly desire and deserve. But for a lot of guys, and I can tell you from experience that, even in my own life, there have been times where I felt like I've needed to achieve this, achieve that, experience this, experience that, before I can actually relax into just love and enjoy the time with my family and so on. It's always been about achievement first, and then I can relax into the things that I need to do in order to be happy. But that actually is not the right approach. I believe that we have to come from a place of love first, and then all those other things can take over. And then we'll realize after a while that those things don't even matter much in the long run. And I think it's really important to remember that. So I'm actually on your side, but I just want you to understand that if you're going to make the shifts that you need to make with your husband, you need to understand that he's not at that place where he realizes that. So at the moment, life is a whole bunch of constraints. So I need to do this, and this, in order to be able to relax into myself. And then I can spend time in the relationship. Then I can spend time in the family and so on. Now you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, okay, if that's the case, then what do I do? Do I just let him go off and do whatever he needs to do and shy away from his responsibilities and so on? Absolutely not. There is some times where it's really important for you to actually speak your truth, but also to really give your gifts of your feminine energy. You know, see, men are drawn to that feminine energy. Men are drawn to that radiance that you hold on to. And he would have been attracted to you in the first place because of the radiance that you were giving off. So what you want to be doing is embracing more of that. And that's why I always say that in order to create shifts in a marriage, you have to create healing from within as well. Because if you don't create healing from within, you're never going to be able to show up with that feminine radiance that you need to express. And if you don't, then he's not going to be drawn to you at the level that you probably want him to. There's going to be layers of protection on the top for you, and that's going to prevent him from seeing the real you, from really connecting in with that beautiful heart that I know that you have, but can sometimes be buried probably over the top. You want him to connect with your heart. That's how you're going to create an extraordinary marriage. You know, you can use all these little tactics and so forth about language and saying the right things, but if you're not feeling it, or if he's not feeling it, it doesn't mean anything. It's just words. That's why you've got to really connect in with your heart. The heart is where the magic lies. And by really bringing your true feminine radiance out, he's going to be drawn to that. And it'll actually be a beautiful distraction for him, because he'll actually be experiencing the things that really bring him joy. You know, a lot of men really love connecting in with their wife and having those beautiful moments, but they feel the pressure of the constraints in their life, which is the work, which is money, you know, which is a sense of significance and needing to feel important and special and making sure that his blueprint actually lines up with his reality and so on. So if you can actually break him out of that by opening your heart and connecting with your feminine radiance, just by being your authentic self, then that's really going to make a big difference in terms of creating the shifts and the transformation that you need in your marriage. And in order to maximize your chances of being able to save your marriage as well, but to ensure that you don't emasculate him on those levels. Because once he feels emasculated, he's going to shut down. When he shuts down, he's not going to communicate at the level that you need him to, and then that's going to create more frustration for you as well. And you know, connecting in with that feminine radiance is a lot simpler than you probably would imagine. Don't forget that, you know, initially your smile would have been something that he would have been drawn to. Your humor, your lightheartedness, your laughter, all of those things, if you bring those out more, that's going to connect him much more with you. That's what's going to really draw him to you a lot more. It doesn't need to be these radical gestures or anything like that. It's the simple stuff. And like I say, that comes from you doing your own internal work on yourself, doing the healing inside, making sure that you bring your best self into your marriage. Because when you do that, then you're going to radiate more with your feminine energy, and then he's going to be drawn to you much more as well. Now, just quickly in the comments section below, I'd love you to just answer the question, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to understanding men and their psychology? Just quickly write your question below. And the third way to stop emasculating your husband is to become aware of what we call reverse polarity. Every relationship or marriage contains both masculine and feminine energies. You know, for me, I typically work with heterosexual couples, and what happens is you will find that the male holds the masculine energy more, and then the female holds the feminine energy more. Now, this typically is the pattern that occurs. However, when individuals get stressed, when they're put under pressure, when they're under stress, a masculine energy tends to reverse into the feminine, and the feminine turns more into the masculine. And so you'll often find that the feminine energy person starts to become more domineering, starts to become more controlling, starts to raise their voice a lot, holds on to a very strong energy. Whereas then what happens is the person that used to hold on to the masculine becomes feminine, and they become softer, they shut down, they stop communicating, they fail to be able to step up and make decisions. And there might even be times in the past where you've said, oh, hey, hun, where do you want to go for dinner? And he might go, oh, I don't know, just wherever. And after a while, it probably gets frustrating for you because you're probably sitting there going, can you just make a decision, please? But what happens is he's afraid of annoying you. He's afraid of making you angry because he's worried that he might choose a dinner place that you don't want to go, and that if you end up going there that you'll be annoyed, but he wants to go there, and then that creates the tension. So you get these interesting dynamics that are occurring. And one of the things that's really important in any marriage or relationship is to allow the masculine to stay in their masculine and to allow the feminine to stay in their feminine as well. So for example, if your husband wants to carry the shopping bags for you, let him carry the shopping bags for you. Even if you can do it, which is fine, of course you can. But if you can do it, but he wants to do it, let him do it. Let him be a man for you. And if you're having conversations with him and you're trying to get him to make decisions, and just say, look, honey, you always make amazing decisions and you always choose these incredible places. So I'd love it if you could do that this time as well. And what that does is it elevates him and makes him feel like, okay, cool, I can step up, and I'm also making her feel really, really happy because she backs my decisions that I'm making. If you're finding that he's immersed in work all the time as well, and he's needing to do that, remember, that's his sense of mission. That's where he needs to feel important. So support him on that, back him all the way on that. Really, really go into bat for him and know that the things that he's doing are actually helping to elevate him. And if it elevates him, he's going to be a better person, a better man for you in the long run as well. Now, does that mean you just sit back and do nothing and just support him and that's that? No, there are times that you absolutely need to set boundaries and need to communicate your best self. But that once again goes back to being able to do the internal work within you and bring your best self. Because men really like it when women are actually being honest and open with them. But it's how it's communicated, not necessarily what is communicated. And if it's communicated in a loving and graceful way, men are much more receptive to it than if it's coming across in a very controlling and domineering kind of way. And that's why it's so important to understand this pattern of reverse polarity in marriages, because it can be an absolute kiss of death and result in so many problems long term, because a man doesn't want to feel like he's getting his balls busted every single day. And by the way, that is an actual quote from a client of mine whose husband I was working with, and he used to say this exact thing, that he felt like he was getting his balls busted every single day. And so it's important to understand that you bringing your own feminine radiance is so crucial to not only creating the spark in the marriage, but to ensuring that the right communication dynamics occur in the marriage. Now look, I've obviously talked a lot about working on yourself and doing a lot of the inner healing work inside. It is so paramount, and it's something that I don't think enough people do, in my opinion. I think a lot of people think they're doing a lot of the work, but they're not really diving into the levels of depth that they're needing to. And when you do that, when you create that internal healing, it's incredible the transformation and how quickly it can come. And what will happen is the reason why this is the foundation of all the work is that when you do that, when you create the healing from inside, then you're going to be able to ensure that you don't emasculate your husband, because you're bringing your best self and your true radiance into the marriage. And it is such a beautiful thing. I see it every single day, not only with clients, but also within myself and in my marriage. I see the feminine radiance that my wife brings, and it's so beautiful, and I'm drawn to that. And that's what I want you to experience. I want you to have that joy and that happiness that you truly deserve. So if you're wanting to get more help, if you're really wanting to learn how to create some massive shifts, not only in yourself, but in your marriage and your connection with your husband, I'd love to be of service to you through my Authentic Relationship System training program. It's an amazing program geared towards helping you to not only create the shifts from within and really create those emotional shifts, so that you feel like you're enough, you feel like you're worthy, you feel like you're lovable, and all of those deep wounds that a lot of human beings hold on to. But to really go deeper into male psychology and to be able to teach you some specifics about how to communicate with your husband, and to really lay the platform so that you create the most extraordinary marriage that you possibly can. It's an amazing program, and you'll get a level of support and service that you won't find anywhere else. So all you need to do to see if you're a good fit for the program, because I don't work with everyone, you have to be a really good fit, not only for you, but for me as well, is just click on the link below in the description section, which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you. You'll have to fill out a short application form, and then I will contact you at the scheduled time, and we can just understand where you are now, where you want to get to, and how we can bridge that gap in the shortest possible time. It'll be a really enjoyable call. You'll absolutely love it. And like I say, there'll be absolutely no pressure. It's just to see if this is the right thing for you. And if it is, fantastic. We'll work through the details, and we will absolutely begin the process towards fast-tracking your journey and creating the marriage and the life that you truly deserve. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you comment below and just let me know what your biggest takeaway from today's video has been as well. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll make sure I respond to your message as well. And if you want to learn whether separation can save a broken marriage, just click this video above. And if you want to learn how to save a broken marriage when only one person is trying, just click this video above.